This is News 6 Tonight.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to News 6 Tonight, the Wednesday edition. We are halfway through the week. If you're a Monday through Friday person, if you work weekends, you got a couple more days to
we've
go.
done it.
Yeah, we've all been there. Thank you so much for carving a little bit of your time out to make for us so we can bring you up to date on some of the headlines today. And I just have to say, some of the headlines we're just going to warn you are pretty gross. I'm Ginger Gadsden.
Yeah, I feel like most of them are, well, there's a couple. Yeah, but this first one is a doozy. My name's Matt Austin. Glad to have you with us. So let's get it out of the way. Pretty gross
Please.
story to tell. A substitute teacher is accused of the unthinkable. This is one of those stories that's really hard. I think as a reporter, especially, you have to go through this report of
So many
graphic
details.
and then there's a lot of stuff that we just can't say on TV, and
We don't
frankly,
want to.
you don't want to hear on the internet. But basically, these kids in this middle school class,
Howard Middle School in Orlando.
yes, they had a substitute teacher, and they noticed that he was on. Why are these teachers on their phones anyway? They report, the kids in the class say that he was watching porn on his
Feet away.
phone. Yeah, you could. There's actually a picture if you look at our web article of where the kids are sitting and then how they could kind of see the angle. And it's worse than that.
We don't want to talk about
Puts
it.
his hands down his pants. And that's where you're going to stop getting details from me. Your community correspondent, Mike Valenti, takes us through this gross report.
A 27-year-old substitute teacher accused of watching porn inside a 7th grade classroom at Howard Middle School in front of those 7th graders he was supposed to be overseeing. This photo in the arrest affidavit shows just how close Orlando police say Daniel Huerta was sitting to the 7th graders he was assigned to teach on October 9th. Detectives claim that it was during their 7th period class that 4 students observed Huerta appear to be touching himself while looking at nude pictures on his phone. A 12-year-old student told the detective she saw Huerta put his hand inside his waistband and down inside his pants. A spokesperson with Orange County Public Schools tells News 6 that Huerta is not an employee, but rather was contracted through Kelly Education, a staffing agency. The director of public relations with Kelly says Huerta is no longer employed there, but did pass all screenings prior to getting hired. And she stressed that Kelly's screening procedures comply with the State Department of Education's rigorous standards and, quote, go beyond those standards to include comprehensive background and fingerprint checks. The OCPS spokesperson did say they let families know about the incident and that the district takes any allegations very seriously, adding that Huerta will not be substituting at any OCPS school. And according to that detective, Huerta said he remembers seeing women in bikinis on his Instagram on the day in question and claimed he was adjusting his pants because they were slim.
Yeah, it's worse than that if you look at the report, too. Mike dug into his past where he works. He has another job at SeaWorld, apparently, which we've reached out to in the past, has worked for Disney. They confiscated his clothes. There were
For evidence.
stains on there.
Yeah, that's here's the thing. This guy knew exactly what he was doing. I know what he's accused of doing, but to do it allegedly around these kids in a classroom, and he's put himself in a position where he is with kids of this age, because if you're working at SeaWorld and Disney and in a middle school, you know exactly what you are doing. And it makes my blood boil because, I don't have kids, but I have nieces and nephews who are in that arena, right? And I would be so livid. I can't imagine what you would be thinking as a parent if one of your daughters saw this man watching porn in the classroom. Their innocent eyes got a glimpse of that or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, these were 7th graders. Hopefully they haven't seen anything like that before. And again, this guy, he is charged. He is innocent until proven guilty.
I get it.
But the thought of something like this happening
Possibly
in your kid's
happening, yeah.
classroom is just, it's something that can change them. If you're seeing what these kids claim they saw, that is something that you don't really get over quickly.
Their youth and innocence, it's lost so quickly now because of social media. They have to grow up quickly because of the times we live in. And you certainly don't want someone in the classroom to expedite that. They don't
Right.
get a chance to be kids.
It's bad enough they have these things in
Yeah.
their hands constantly with what that guy is accused of watching all the time, and
It's just,
now
yeah.
to watch it on a teacher's
I know.
phone.
It's one of those things where a lot of the times we do dive into the report before we talk about it and say, oh, I read the whole report. After maybe a paragraph or two,
I had to stop.
You can't stomach
to
it.
stop
It's
that
just
myself.
like, whatever. Moving on to another story. This happened in Gotha. Central Florida is known to be home to some
We
bears.
have the Bears, yep.
And one of the reasons is because we have this booming population and we're building where the bears used to have their homes. I always like to say, I always
Go
take
ahead,
this-
Ginger, get it out. I know
mean,
you
where
need
are
to
they
say
going to
it.
go? Where are they going to go? We're building on top of them, so they have to go somewhere. But thank goodness, our community correspondent, Tylisa Hampton, she went to Gotha to talk to this family because they found something really interesting on their doorbell camera. Here's Tylisa's report.
This family is used to seeing people on their doorbell camera. However, they saw something they never thought they would. A bear.
It's a sight I couldn't believe.
But Jolisa Pena's eyes were not deceiving her as a bear approached her front porch Sunday night.
Did it check out a flower pot? Is that what it was?
It was just smelling everything.
The unwelcome guest making itself familiar.
Started sniffing around. It came to the door, then started walking away, came this way.
Jolisa only learned about the bear's movements after her son called her from the driveway, thankful he was not harmed.
My son was in the car waiting to come in, so he waited until the bear went and he just ran inside the house.
Grateful she did not let the dogs out as they saw why the bear was not snooping for honey in the woods.
Obviously, it was looking for food because the garbage cans were all on the ground.
I reached out to the state's FWC, who notes during the fall, bears are more active and maybe more visible as they pass through areas while looking for food. To prevent them from going on your yard, they suggest removing or securing food sources like garbage, dumpsters, pet food, and even bird seeds.
It was terrifying. All night, I kept looking out every time I heard my ring on because I'm like, is it still there?
Yeah, I would be checking my doorbell camera before I stepped outside if I lived in that area. And he was a big boy or big girl. I don't know.
I think that was a boy. Good to see you, the Stella Gadsden.
Hello.
Watching too.
Yeah, that would just terrify me. But thank goodness they only saw it on their doorbell cam. We've seen videos of people opening their door and, hello, Mr. Bear.
I did a story on that just a few weeks ago. A guy was really freaked
Oh, the
out.
pizza guy.
Yes, he ordered a pizza, and on his cameras, you could see the bear walking by about a half hour after his little Uber Eats driver came through. So,
Thank goodness the timing was off
what would
on
you
that
do
one.
if you walked out and saw that monster? As soon as you open your door, you're probably half paying
I
attention.
mean, you just freeze, right? I don't know. I don't think they want to harm you. It's like, hey, you got anything to eat in there?
Yeah. Hey, now that your door's open, let me just
Yeah.
sneak on in
But
here.
it is kind of, I've seen them roaming through neighborhoods, videos of them roaming through neighborhoods, and they're just going through garbage, which is why they tell you to secure it as much as you possibly can. And if they ever get in your garage and people have a second refrigerator in the garage,
You're done.
it's a party.
It's the worst when they get into the cars. Have you ever seen a
Oh,
bear get into a car? It's like you might as well just torch that thing.
You're
It
getting a
is
new car.
Done. Yes. All right. Let's talk about some property taxes.
Oh, boy.
I started doing a deep dive into this. It's something a lot of us don't really understand,
Mm-hmm.
including. I mean, you think you have the basics of it, but there's so much to it. It's a really
Once you get into the
convoluted
weeds,
story
yeah.
to try to cover as far as where the money comes from and where it goes
Yeah.
specifically.
And why do we have to keep paying it?
Yeah. And, I mean, our own governor, Ron DeSantis, is like, why do we have to pay taxes
on our own stuff?
Do we own it or not? Which
Yeah.
is an interesting point. But the question is, there are all these other things attached to it. Our schools, our police departments, our
Yeah.
county
It
jails.
can't just go away.
They're all paid by property taxes. So I set out to answer the question a little bit, at least kind of dip our toe into where these funds are coming from. And I talked to a local tax collector who's a Republican about what would happen if some of this went into place. So let's take a listen.
Taxpayers need relief.
Governor Ron DeSantis has made it clear he wants major changes to Florida's property tax system.
Is the property yours, or are you just renting it from the government?
Thank you for talking to us today. We appreciate it.
When I spoke with state CFO Blaise Ngolia earlier this year, he emphasized property tax cuts are the main reason behind DOGE cuts.
You have been very outspoken about getting rid of property taxes.
So the first thing you have to know is that we're not getting rid of property. I would love to get rid of property taxes altogether, but the proposal is to get rid of property taxes on homesteaded properties.
A recent barrage of bills describes what the Florida House refuses to cut. Language keeps any government from reducing funding for law enforcement, and school taxes will also be off limits. Currently, property taxes make up 46% of funding for Florida schools, or $21 billion.
Where can they make a cut that they can pretty much put the pressure on the counties to say, well, you tighten your belt, but don't touch public safety, don't touch schools. It's unfortunate that's where the most of the money goes.
J.R. Kroll is the Republican Seminole County tax collector. He says these changes would impact every county in different ways.
You know, we have one skyscraper here in Seminole County, and it's not finished. It's the eyesore. Meanwhile, you go to Tampa, Orlando, they have skyscrapers, and you can imagine the hundreds of thousands of dollars that they pay in property taxes in each building.
So let's use that one skyscraper to illustrate the point. This is the I-4 eyesore. So imagine this whole structure is all the property taxes in the state of Florida. The state says 35% of all property taxes come from homesteaded residences. However, in Seminole County, it's 42%. In Osceola, the ratio looks more like this. Only 27% of revenue comes from homesteaded houses. Here's the other issue. According to the Florida Department of Revenue, 29 of Florida's 67 counties are fiscally constrained. That means their property taxes aren't high enough to even pay their current bills.
So digging into these numbers was very interesting to me. Yeah, they already can't pay the bills that the other counties have
And
to
you take
compensate
that
for
away.
So, and then the other thing I found that was interesting, I didn't even talk about this on TV, is they show this graph in this government document of where the housing prices actually are and where the property taxes that they're actually charging based on the value. Because, you know, like if you bought your house a while ago, so it can only go up about 3% a year. Our houses have doubled, sometimes tripled in price.
Value, yeah, value.
The value is about 70% higher in many of these counties than the value that we're actually being taxed on. So that's another area where the government's not quite getting as much money as they would probably
But I'm
like.
telling you, Republicans and Democrats can agree. When the governor says, do you own it or not? We're all like, yeah, do we? What's the answer?
It's a fair point. You know, like, should you keep having to pay for something you already bought? But it has to come from somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Like, do you raise sales taxes up to 12%, which is really more of a tax on the poor than anything else?
Is that a case where is it robbing Peter to pay Paul? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, everybody wants to not pay property taxes. And everyone wants a police officer to show up at their door when they call. And everybody wants their kid's teacher to be paid a decent wage at their school. So there are these competing forces.
Everybody doesn't get whatever they want.
Somebody's going to have to budge, it seems.
Hopefully at some point we'll figure it out. But those numbers are startling toward the end. They're the ones who can't even,
they can't even pay their bills now.
Right now. Yeah. All right. Well, stay with us. We have much more ahead, including a sad story. This is when I said we had some pretty gross stories tonight. This is another one of them. It happened in South Florida. Someone put a spear through a croc's head. And then when they rescued the poor thing, they found something else. We'll talk about it when we come back. Yeah, and he got the latest from the sheriff just a little while ago, I think. So we'll make sure we have that for News 6 tonight. Hey, thanks for stopping by. We know you're busy, but news doesn't stop, and neither do we.
That's right. And this is News 6 Tonight, where we leverage this entire busy newsroom with our community correspondents, our producers, our content desk, and then we filter through that. We have a casual conversation about the news that impacts Central Florida.
Yeah, we live here in the community, and we rely on you for our neighborhood network because you're our eyes and ears as well, and we can't do it without you.
So you can watch us all over the place, YouTube, News 6 Plus app, and clickorlando.com. While you're here, feel free to engage. Let us know who you are and where you're from.
Welcome back to News 6 Tonight, everyone. Before the break, we were telling you about this awful story where someone in South Florida apparently took a spear gun and put it to the head of a crocodile. And you seemed that we were just talking. You said they may have thought it was an alligator, which to me, I don't care.
Still, there's a hunting season. You need permits and all that. So it would have been illegal for an alligator, but crocodiles are protected. They're a federally threatened species.
And you can tell, I feel like now, if you live here, you have to be able to tell the difference between the two.
Yeah,
But
otherwise you're an ignoramus
but,
anyway.
but anyway, someone saw this poor thing with this spear in its head, and it was rescued, thank goodness. CBS reporter Nikira Carrero has this report.
It took 2 people to carry the female crocodile into the room where Dr. Gwen Myers was able to remove the spear.
We think that spear's probably been in her head about maybe a week.
Saturday morning, FWC received calls out of Key Largo that a crocodile was swimming around with a spear lodged in its head. That's when officers tried to safely capture the reptile.
They were not able to do so Saturday, but yesterday, Monday, is when they were actually able to capture it, along with the help of Zoo Miami and our nuisance alligator program trapper.
Once the reptile arrived to Zoo Miami, they conducted a number of tests and x-rays to see how far the spear was lodged inside of its head. Dr. Myers and her team removed the spear by hand, avoiding surgery. But it's what they also found in x-rays that was alarming.
She has a bullet in her head as well. She has a small pellet in her skull. I don't know how long that's been in there.
Myers says the goal is to nurse the crocodile back to health and release her back in her home of Key Largo.
And thank goodness they were able to get her out of the water and rescue her and do that great work without even performing surgery. But what kind of psycho does something like that? And is it the same person who may have shot the
That's what I
crocodile
want to
too?
know. Did they make that mistake? Because obviously, if you're some sort of hunter, you're a terrible hunter. That's not a thing. You're not allowed to hunt these anyway.
No.
And then did they try to cover it up by then shooting her, or was she shot by somebody completely different? And then this other person came along with this spear.
But if you're the
arrow
person
thing.
with the spear, I would think that you would want to remove it yourself because it's obvious it's swimming around with that thing
She's
that's
a big
head.
girl. I don't
Yeah.
know if I'd want to remove it myself.
Well, then
But
don't
yeah,
mess with her. Don't mess with her.
If you're a hunter, you're supposed to
Yeah.
take care of that. But obviously, this is not a hunter. This is some.
Well, there's a name
as
for
we
that
call
person.
it in my house, a moron who thinks it's an alligator, maybe doesn't understand
I don't
hunting
cuss, but
laws around
I
here.
love to call people jack wagons when they do things like that. That's a jack wagon.
Ginger will tell you she wants to punch you in the gullet if she's really angry.
As soon as I find out where the gullet's located, you're going to get it.
Yeah, you're definitely. Maybe a crocodile has a gullet. Who knows? All right, let's get over to meteorologist Jonathan Kegas. Weather is a big topic these days. We have this big old storm down south.
Yeah.
that
Melissa?
He told us today is going to be raging, but is not going to be our problem, Jonathan. What makes you think that it's going to get so strong?
There is basically untapped energy. It's the biggest ocean heat content. I'll pull up the heat content map for you to show you what I'm talking about. There's a couple of things. I don't know how much time we have to get into this. We're gonna get into this a lot coming up at 9:30. But basically, we have this thing called.
Did you
tropical...
share your screen, Jonathan?
Is it? I think so.
Oh, no,
Maybe
he
not.
says it's not shared.
Maybe I didn't do that. My bad.
Okay. No, you're
My
good.
bad.
That's all right.
There it is now. If he can see it.
there
So
he
sees
all
it.
of this, all of that kind of dark red, this is what we know as a tropical cyclone heat potential. So this doesn't just take account in the water at the surface. This is the water several hundred meters below the ocean surface. So if there's a storm and it stalls, typically, okay, we like that because it upwells some cooler water. In the Caribbean, that doesn't happen. So even slow-moving storms, it's just an unlimited energy source for these things. Now, right now, it's over some of that warm water. However, wind shear is beating it up. The one thing that we are expecting to happen with this is it's going to get into an area with limited wind shear. So I'm going to show you this map here, and I have to reload into my thing because I had it in my other show if it's going to play ball with me, and I don't know that it will. There we go. All those lines. But I want to there's the storm. That's a simulated infrared satellite, and you'll see it go a little bit. It doesn't go out too far. You see it starts to get going there. This is a Sunday. That's as far out as my infrared simulation model will go out. But what I want to show you here is, you notice, let me get to the right spot. It's right about in here. Notice how we have these lines kind of pushing away from one another, like right in through here in the Western Caribbean. Let me back this up even a little bit.
They're just going all sorts of directions. Yeah.
Going all sorts of directions. That's a better example. We're going to zoom in that. See how you have kind of lines going north, lines going to the west, lines going to the south. This is what we call anticyclonic flow. So we have a big chunk of high pressure sitting on top of this thing, and that basically allows the storm to breathe. So we are evacuating air up top. Not only does it help to push air inward at the surface so you complete this heat engine, it also has unlimited energy. So it's breathing and it's going to be eating. Basically,
wow, it sounds like a monster.
I was going to say a fat man on a couch on a Sunday watching a football game. Just unlimited.
Wow.
Yeah. Or
we're
a
talking about my
person.
home life, Jonathan. Jeez.
Hey,
I mean, that pretty much sums it up. Okay, so the people who are taking cruises, Jonathan, are they going to have to worry? Because we're going to be talking about this for a while, you said.
We are. I mean, at least through about Halloween, until it gets picked up by this dip in the jet stream. We see those thunderstorms up there. Anyway, that dip, this thing that's what we want. We want that guy to come on through and just get this thing on out of here. Probably through Halloween, Bohemian cruises, certainly anything that was going to Jamaica or the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico even, although I don't expect huge impacts to Puerto Rico as this thing's moving away, but anything in there, maybe even Cancun, although this should not get as far west as Cancun, but anything in the Caribbean, anything in the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, you're going to have to watch that quickly.
Watch out for it.
Yeah.
And if something like that is going on, check it out at 9:30. Your meteorologist, Jonathan Kagan, he can zoom it in and figure it out exactly.
I mean, I'm still thinking about the fat dude on the couch watching football, but that's
me too, because
I can't wait to get to Sunday, baby.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Perfect. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it. All right, we've got coming up a cool restoration to a historic ballpark coming up after the break. Welcome to News 6 Tonight. We are so thankful that you're joining us here wherever you found us.
Yeah, you know what this tells me? If you have made this your new streaming destination, it tells me you're smart. Also good looking, because you chose to watch the news in a different way. That makes you really smart. Anybody can give you the news from a teleprompter or an old newspaper. We do it in a fresh new way.
That's right. So check us out wherever you like to stream. We have this app for your TV, News 6 Plus. You can find it on Roku and Amazon and whatever your smart TV is cooking. So thank you. We would love to hear your comments down below.
Gosh. Yeah.
And then we'll show them.
Yeah, we will. News 6 Plus. The plus is you.
Ooh. Hey, welcome back to News 6 Tonight. Hopefully you're having a good one. We always try to get a feel-good story to send you off after what can be a long show sometimes. Important stuff to know. That's why we choose this stuff. A historic ballpark in Daytona Beach is in the midst of a huge remodel. It is Jackie Robinson Ballpark, and they have a $30 million renovation that is happening right now. So we got an inside look.
Yeah.
Your community correspondent, Alex Cook, takes you there.
I'm News 6's Alex Cook at Jackie Robinson Ballpark in Daytona Beach, getting a behind-the-scenes tour of the renovations happening here at this historic park.
It's an absolute honor to be, a small part of this project and part of this process. The new player development facilities for the teams, for them to be able to continue to train and continue to ultimately reach their goals at the big league level.
Jim Jaworski, general manager of the Daytona Tortugas, says the new player development facility will be waiting for the team when they show up for spring training next April. He says the 30,000 square foot building will meet Major League Baseball standards with fitness areas and indoor batting cages. Fans will have something to look forward to as well, with a deck for watching the game, food vendors, and a team store.
Not to mention at a historic facility, and to continue to play professional baseball here at Jackie Robinson Ballpark, to be a part of that, it's extremely special.
Daytona Beach City Commissioner Paula Reed toured the construction.
We are celebrating a tradition of this city, Jackie Robinson Stadium. It's absolutely gorgeous. We've invested $40 million in it. We're only in the first phase. Another phase is coming.
It's important for her that her city honors the legacy of the park's namesake, Jackie Robinson, who became the first black man to play in the major leagues at this ballpark in 1946.
We want the youth of this community to know who this man was, and we want our city to be respected for who he is.
And that's why the new building will also house a Jackie Robinson Museum, filled with historic memorabilia for fans interested in the history of the game.
Every bit of that history deserved and should be preserved.
Absolutely. We'll see you tomorrow night right here, 9 o'clock, and at 10 tonight.